How about now? Okay.
Yes, it has started.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sylvester Agose. I am the president of SPA LASU chapter, and I want to welcome every single one of you to today's webinar. Um, on behalf of the executive team, on behalf of every member of SPA LASU, I'm genuinely glad that every one of you is here on this call. Like Pamela mentioned, today's session carries a title that I think says something important about where student engineering communities need to be right now in 2026. Right, our topic is innovation beyond borders: how students can solve global energy challenges together. And it's important that we pay attention to the word students, right? Not professionals, not governments, students. And the framing is deliberate from our end with SPE LASU, right? Because in today's world, we're talking about energy transition, and we've come to understand that it's not a single country's problem, and it will, of course, not yield to a single discipline's solution. It cuts across numerous disciplines, and it basically demands a certain kind of thinking that happens when engineers and student engineers from different contexts come together to reason together. And that is exactly what SPE LASU, SPE rather, as a global society was built to make possible. And that's exactly what we as a chapter aspire to model. And we are very fortunate to have um, a speaker here with us today whose work embodies cross-border spirit, and she is bringing technical depth. She's bringing a broader perspective that our conversation this evening deserves. And I'm very confident that what she shares with every single one of us this evening will leave us with something we can actually act on in the future, even now, today. And to our speaker, we say thank you. Thank you for making the time for our community. We all are ready to learn. And to everyone in attendance, please engage fully. For those of us who are still in class, because I had to leave a class to be here with every one of us this evening, um, send messages to your friends. Let them know that they can join us after their class by 5:30, 6 p.m. For those of us on this call, let's ask our questions, let's share our context, and let's just resist that temptation to be passive observers, because many of us are passive observers, right? Because the best thing that can come out of a session like this is that um, it's not just what you carry away individually, but the connection and the ideas that form between us, right? So if you leave me, I'll keep talking and talking. So I'll just hand over the microphone to Pamela and let's get the session started. Thank you and welcome, everybody.
Oh, thank you very much for that welcome address, Mr. President. You said you had to sacrifice your attendance in class for this call. Everybody, I know that you are all listening. So I would like us to give our heartfelt appreciation to Mr. President by giving him a heart, by reacting with a heart in the chat. I know we can do that. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Oh, he loves us so much. Oh, the love is real. Okay, so thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. Yes. So now we move on to the safety brief of the session. Please listen attentively as I give out the safety brief. Ensure you mute your mic when you're not speaking. We are trying our best to reduce and eliminate every form of interference as possible. So ensure you mute your mic, and if you are to speak, ensure that your background is a little quiet so that the speakers can hear you speak and your question. Secondly, raise up your hands to speak. If you have a question, a comment, anything, ensure you raise up your virtual hands to speak. It's just at the bottom of your screen there. Also, use the chat box. If you have any comments and questions and you cannot speak, ensure you drop them in the chat box and they will be attended to in due time. Ensure you can still hear the fire alarm with your headsets. If you are using headphones, headset, earpiece, whatever it is that is blocking your ears, ensure only one is put in so that you are aware of your surroundings at all times. Next is always stay safe. Do not stand at the doorway, do not stand in the middle of the road while listening. Ensure you are in a safe environment so that you can gather as much information as safely as possible. And lastly, be at alert and aware and maintain a good sitting posture. So that is all for the safety briefing. I hope we all heard that, and I hope that we can all put that into good use. Now, now we have now come to the cocoa of the matter. I don't think there is a proper English word for that, but now we have now come to the cocoa of the matter. Now, I would like us to listen, to be very attentive. Let us peel our ears and open our eyes as I introduce our speaker to us. Mrs. Gift Odigie is a chemical engineer with over 2 years of experience in the oil and gas industry, focusing on operations management, process optimization, and project coordination. She currently works in operations where she ensures efficient facility performance, safety compliance, and continuous improvement across evacuation systems. Mrs. Gift's background blends technical expertise with management insights, strengthened by her early experience as a management trainee and her solid foundation in chemical engineering. Passionate about building sustainable and efficient energy systems, Gift is dedicated to leveraging engineering innovation and leadership to advance operational excellence in the energy sector. Beyond her professional endeavors, she finds joy in sharing her faith and life's journey alongside her husband, embodying a purpose-driven commitment to impacting lives through the gospel of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you're excited, if you are just expectant of what Mrs. Gift Odige is, she just wants to give us today. Please, I just want you guys to just give her a heart, react with a heart rather, so that she will know that she's loved and welcome by the SP Lasso community. That love that we have, it cannot, let her feel it, let her feel it. It's only Samuel I can see you. Where are the rest of us? And Samuel, are we stingy with hearts on our keyboards again? Uh-uh. Thank you, Demilade. Who else? Ah, thank you, Kofo. Thank you. Thank you, Usman. So, Mrs. Gift Odige, are you around?
Yes, I am. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yes,
for
ma'am.
clearing
Yes, ma'am.
for the introduction. I'm happy to be and yeah, we'll start soon. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining this ambassador lecture program. This is actually a full circle moment for me because I don't think that was mentioned in my bio, but I actually attended LASO. I was in chemical and polymer engineering. I heard it's changed now, I think. But yeah, I was in chemical and polymer engineering. I graduated in 2021. So obviously I don't think I would have met any of you in school then, because that's about 5 years ago, and that's a whole like degree. Um, our topic for today is innovation beyond borders, how students can solve global energy challenges together. I already said my name. I am an SB member, and don't want to go into details about me because I'm not the topic of conversation today. And anyhow, over the next 30 to 40 minutes, I'm excited to explore how we, as students here in Lagos, Nigeria, can actually play a role in shaping the world's energy future. I hope everyone is ready to get on this journey with me. And without further ado, I would like to go ahead and share my screen now. So, Camilla, do I need permissions for that, or I should just go ahead and do that?
Yes, the person sharing their screen is going to stop right now.
Okay.
Samuel. Okay, I think she has stopped sharing her screen.
All right. So
Oh,
tell me
okay.
if you can see my screen. Just let me know.
Yes, we can. We can.
Clearly?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Jokes. All right. So I already told us the topic for today: innovation beyond borders, and we have my name there, Gift Odigie. So our agenda for today will be a brief introduction. We'll talk about global energy challenges in 2026. We'll talk about why beyond borders matter. We'll talk about real world student innovations because we don't want to give you theories. We want to show you how students are actually changing the world right now, changing their world. Because I'm a very firm believer of starting where you are, right? And we have students all over the world changing their world right now. So we'll go into that. We'll also talk about the things that you can do to ensure that you're making moves and you're taking practical steps. And of course, there'll be a question and answer session. This is going to be an interactive session. So while I'm speaking, I'd like you to maybe jot down your questions, your ideas, anything you'd like to share. So when we get to the Q&A, we will have enough things to talk about. Um, okay, so probably already read my bio. I'll just gloss over this. Professional chemical engineer with under 5 years of just under 5 years of hands-on experience in the energy sector. Specialized in process design, crude accounting, operational optimization, and project management. I am an SP member and an award winner. I have planned and executed high-profile energy and engineering events. Yeah, so why I actually really like this topic because it's an opportunity to share practical real world strategies. I don't I'm not someone who buys into the idea of talk. I like us to not just talk but do, and obviously you want to see what people are doing, people that are somewhat at your level. There was something your president said earlier that resonated with me. He said students, which is very, very important because I'm not talking about the Nigerian government or people in the oil and gas industry already or in the energy industry with years of experience. I'm talking about students, people that are where you are right now and what you can do before you go out there into the job market or into the real world, so to speak. So that's why I'm so excited about this webinar, this session today, and I hope that it is my wish that whatever I share today will be of value to you and you can turn it into actual actionable steps. So it says here that I love turning complex challenges to clear actionable frameworks that audiences can simply apply immediately in their various lives and careers. Okay, now let's get into it proper. So I have here the energy paradox, demand versus sustainability. I mean, we are in Nigeria and our country is like an actual case study, right? You know what the situation is with energy in Nigeria, especially over the past, I think since January, it has been a lot of issues, right? We are not supplying enough to meet the demand. And it's not just in Nigeria, apparently. So all over the world, global electricity demand is surging because of artificial intelligence, data centers, and if you've done your research, you know that it costs a lot of electricity for to use artificial intelligence, even for data centers, data mining, all those things. It consumes a lot of electricity, and at the end of the day, we need to have sustainable systems in place, right? So according to the recent IEA projections, data center electricity consumption alone could reach around 945 trillion, nearly double our current levels, right? And in Africa, because whatever we do, we have to bring it back home. We have to make it relatable to us. Because yeah, things are happening in the US, they're happening in Europe, they're happening in North America, but we want to bring it down to Africa, particularly West Africa, and then Nigeria. So it is a lot more relatable and understandable for us. at this point in time. So I have here that in Africa, data center power demand is growing about 9% compound annual growth rates. That's CAGR. And in Nigeria here, we have about 17 to 20 data centers, which need about 137 million watts today, as it like right now. And of course, with the surge of AI, that it's expanding fast, and we need more energy to power development and technology, and we must do it sustainably. This tension right now is the core challenge of our generation, right? So I mentioned earlier, the demand is not matching sustainability or supply, and that's where we're at right now. And if you think about it, I think this has been an issue for quite a number of years. So it's interesting that at this point in time, we're still having these conversations, which means solutions have been coming up, but not at the rates we want them to. We still have these problems that we need to solve. That's where students, that's where you and I come in, and we'll get into that shortly. Please forgive me. In the middle of this, I might say praise the Lord because I'm really used to saying that. Just go along with it. Thank you. So, slide 5 key global energy challenges. So, I feel like we have a lot more than 5, but that's why key is the operative word there. So, we have 5 major challenges shaping the energy world today. We have energy access and equity, especially across sub Saharan Africa. I mean, our grid, national grid, it falls down every 2 business hours. People have been complaining of power supply, and then we have this whole issue with the Iran war and how it's affecting um the sales of petrol and all those things, right? So you can see that there's a there's an access problem and there's also an equity problem. So some parts are better served than some parts. So across Nigeria, you know for a fact that you don't have, I don't think even people that would say they have 24/7 power supply probably do by augmenting with solar or inverter, but it's not from the national grid. I mean, there was news recently that the government's house, I think Astro Rock, actually switched to solar. So imagine how crazy that is, right? And it's not just a Nigerian thing; it's across sub-Saharan Africa. There is, and while an energy poor region, that's just the term to use, one energy poor region, right? Another major challenge is decarbonization and meeting climate goals. So you know that over the last decade, yeah, majorly over the last decade, the world has been shifting towards decarbonization, green energy, and all of all those things, and with the climate change and all the news that we get, right? So, Europe, the United States, we have even some countries in Asia too have started, and of course the Middle East, right? UAE, they've started decarbonization, but at the end of the day, due to challenges in Africa, we always play catch up, and that's one of the big issues we have right now, particularly in this part of the world. We're struggling to meet climate goals, we're struggling to meet the decarbonization needs, right? I thought the third challenge is the explosive AI and data center power surge. I mentioned earlier that with the global demand of AI and data centers increasing, there's also a power surge. I mentioned earlier that if you do your research, I'm sure you're aware of how much electricity it costs to run a data center. And the more they grow, the more we have to meet this demand. And it's a problem, it's a general problem all over the world. We have grid infrastructure and reliability issues again. Nigeria is a case in point. Our national grid is not reliable. It hasn't been reliable for many years, right? So you find out that people now are having to find solutions to electricity or energy for their own homes and offices. And the fifth challenge we have is geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruption. See what's happening with the Strait of the strait in Iran. I can't remember the name. I think it's Aram or Hormuz or something like that, right? So that one, yeah, thank you so much. So with that now, you can say that the entire world, we are holding our breath when it comes to the prices of crude. Crude, I think crude went from 70 something per barrel to, I think it's in the hundreds now, or it's 90s, right? You know how much you buy, you know how much the pump price for a liter of petrol is. I think it has doubled in the space of 1 month, right? So all of these geopolitical issues, and this is happening in Iran that is so far away from Nigeria, so far away from Africa, but the rest of the world is feeling it, right? So these issues are, they might be foreign, but they also pose local challenges or local problems to us. And they're not abstract. I mean, I've given you examples of Nigeria in particular because I want us to really bring it home. These are not abstract problems. They directly affect jobs, they directly affect economies, they affect daily life in Nigeria and beyond. And where there is a problem, there's always a solution. This is us being positioned as solution providers, as students in the energy industry. So for local relevance, again, bringing it back home, bringing it to Nigeria, um, gas as transition fuel. So I don't know if you've been following, but we've had a lot of conversations since this government in particular, right? I've had a lot of conversations with transitioning to gas as a country. If you were present at the last energy week, you find out that you remember that the theme surrounded gas, right? So that's what everybody's talking about now. We're trying to figure out as a country, as an industry, the thought leaders are wondering, okay, how can we really transition to this to gas as our fuel? Currently, I think the government is targeting about 10 billion standard cubic feet per day of gas production by 2030. That's about 4 years from now. And we're currently at about 2 billion, if I'm right. Yeah, we're currently at about 2 billion, and we have never gotten there, right? So you can see that progress is being made. We're trying to ramp up production to get to this targets by the end of 2030. Of course, there are challenges. There's gas flaring reduction. We also have to improve our grid stability, right? So, like I said earlier, where we have challenges, we have opportunities to provide solutions, and these opportunities are integrating renewables, local content development, and gas to power. And of course, we have data centers which could drive new investments, but data centers rely on clean power. And so if we're transitioning to gas, we have to also figure out how to provide clean power for these data centers, driving in new investments, thereby helping our economy. And the country is uniquely positioned. We have the resources. Nigeria is blessed with resources. And also the people, the students are extremely smart. This is just a what's it called? It's a thing of positioning yourself and making the right moves so you can lead solutions because you're young, you're talented, and there is a problem that requires fixing. Okay, so next slide. Now, this is a very important aspect of this session. I know probably when you saw the topic, you'd be like beyond borders. Like, I'm in Nigeria. I probably never left Nigeria before. What's my business with the borders? Why are we talking about innovating beyond borders? I've not even innovated in Nigeria, right? So I'll go into why beyond borders actually matters. Please. Okay. So why borders limit innovation? Okay. So here's the truth. Most big energy problems don't respect national borders. Yet our solutions are trapped within them. I mentioned earlier about the war with Donald Trump, President of the United States, and the government of Iran. It's happening so far away, but here it is affecting us in Nigeria. Whatever happens, even if the Suez Canal gets backed up today, and lock and maybe shut down or something, it's going to affect us here in Nigeria. That's far away from us. So there are problems, and big energy problems are big and they're out there, but they affect us, even if we don't directly have a hand in the in causing the problems, so to speak, right? So, but if you think locally, if you think just from where you are, or if you think in silos, it slows down progress. You have to expand your thinking. You have to take on ideas from outside your immediate environment and then tailor it to your environment. So you bring in diverse perspectives, engineers from different countries, different disciplines, different lived experiences, and then you can create a much stronger, much more inclusive innovation. I'll give you an example. So I was reading a tweet a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to paraphrase, but the story was a company created an app, but they tested the app in Lagos and I think Abuja, right? And compared to the rest of the country, I mean, we'll be right to assume that Lagos has probably has one of the, or if not the best internet service, right? And then their application, they found out that they had a lot of complaints from a particular part of the country, from the north, found out that their users were unable to use the app, and it was a shock to them because they were like, "But the app works perfectly." That's the thing. They created the app to be used across Nigeria, but they only tested it in Lagos and Abuja. Now imagine they had somebody on their team that was probably living in like Zamfara or UB, where we cannot necessarily trust the internet service there, right? Maybe in one remote village, and that person will be like, I tried to use this app, I tried to use the service in Yobe, in the village in Yobe, and it didn't work. This would have been fixed in the before they got to implementing stage, right? While they were still creating the app, they would have figured out how to make it work with, irrespective of how strong your internet service is. So that's what happens when you have diverse members, when you have diverse perspective, when you have diverse people on your team, you have diverse thoughts. Um, you can't get that if you're thinking locally, if you're only thinking where you are. So you have to collaborate with people outside of your immediate environment to get their perspective, to get their experience, and like I said earlier, tailor it to your environment to provide a solution. Okay, in this slide here, we talk about the power of beyond borders, knowledge sharing accelerates innovation. So this is why innovation beyond border matters. You will get more breakthroughs if you're able to share. Because I mean, there's a saying, popular saying that says a problem shared is half solved. I don't know if I got it right, but yeah, something like that. So if you're able to, first of all, you're able to share your problem, whatever issue it is you're going through, with somebody else, just talking about it in the first place expands your thinking. You're able to name what it is, and then they can share their perspective, right? You also have cross-border mentorship, you have joint projects, and thank God we're using SP. SP is a global platform, right? It connects you with students all over the world. You just have to know how to utilize it, right? Then we have international student hackathons and summits. Think I'm sure some of you will be familiar with that. So when African students bring practical context specific ideas like let's say off-grid solar, mini-grid solutions, and then you partner with global teams, you can actually expect real magic to happen. You bring the idea, you find somebody, probably a student in the US, who has access to a lot more opportunities than you do, and you collaborate, and just just like that, you have your project up and running. So I'll share a couple of student success stories because I don't want you to think that this is an abstract idea and it has not happened before. Nobody has done it, nobody's doing it. So over the next couple of slides, I'll share some student success so you can see them do it and you can be inspired or take inspiration from there. So we have the Waste to Energy Youth Project in Uganda. Inspired by the Student Energy Summit, the students in Uganda turned waste into affordable briquettes and biogas, transforming the idea into a successful commercial enterprise that now serves local communities. So the students named, I'm going to try to pronounce the name, and I'm so sorry to him or to everyone if I don't get it right. So student named Kakembo Galabuzi Brian attended a student energy summit. Then he and his team, they got inspired. They turned waste into affordable briquettes and biogas. So this began as a youth initiative and is a commercial enterprise now, employing people and serving communities with cleaner energy. So you can see this happening in Uganda, in Africa here. It started from where you can even look at the pictures, right? Look at the environment. It doesn't look grand. It doesn't look like your multinational what's it called, factory or something. But see what he's doing with what he has. So you just like you have to just start where you are. You don't need to you don't need to do too much. Sorry, just give me a second, please. Okay, please confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I said you don't need to do too much. You can literally just start where you are. So next we have okay. Next we have student energy global impact. Luminosity Luminosity Legends at the University of British Columbia (UBC) through Student Energy's Guided Project Program installed a solar-powered Wi-Fi repeater at the that's an actual word that I'm going to try to pronounce. Please pray for me. Husisum Indigenous Gardens, powered by a 1.46 kilowatts solar array and 6 kilowatt battery storage. Yeah. So, like I said, I tried to pronounce the garden name as best as I could. It's not English, and that's not my that language is not my first language or my second language or my third either. Right. So thousands of youth projects have been supported. They've generated megawatts of renewable capacity and improving energy access for tens of thousands of people. The off-grid system now provides reliable connectivity to support indigenous learning, community outreach, and knowledge sharing within local schools and the wider communities. The message is clear. Students are not waiting for the future. They are building it now. They are building it now, right? And I missed the slide, so I'll go back. Yeah, energy hackathons worldwide. I mentioned earlier, I think a couple of my classmates, too, when we were in school, they participated in hackathons. And I know that SP has hackathons. Hackathons still happen now, right? So you have Georgia Tech Energy Hackathon, student teams on renewables and smart grids. So around the world, there are student energy hackathons. They are producing solutions in renewables, smart grids, solar installations on farms, and artificial intelligence for energy optimization. These are students just like you. I mentioned that it was very important for us to see actual students, not people that are already in the industry. I also made it a point to include an African there, so you know that it's not something that is foreign to us. Even Africans right here are turning ideas into prototypes. Now, like Camille said earlier, to the cocoa of the matter, we've talked about all the things happening all over the world. We have to get into what can I actually do as a student in Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah, I know somebody in British Columbia is doing this, somebody in Georgia Tech, somebody in Uganda is doing this. What can I do as a student? And let's get into that. So firstly, I have here develop interdisciplinary skills, engineering plus AI and business policy. I don't know if you have any 500 level students here, but I know that when you get to 500 level, you will do a course called business law. And you might, probably if you wonder what concerns me with law and why are they teaching me law in engineering? But this is it here. You're developing interdisciplinary skills, right? So you're not sticking to just the core of engineering. You also find out that even with the engineering, you start with from 100 level, you do a general broad science, right? Science courses. Then you get to 200 level and you still do a mix of maybe if you're in CPE, if you're in chemical engineering, you still do some MEC courses, you do some ECE courses, right? And I think you guys have more departments now, but you find out that you're not doing just your department courses, right? So that's just it. You're developing interdisciplinary skills even within engineering. Now take it a step further. Take it outside of engineering. Learn about AI. You don't have to be in electronics and computer engineering department to learn about AI. AI is literally changing the way the world is right now. You can take courses. There's a plethora of free courses online that you can take, right? You don't have to pay because I mean you're a student, how much money can you even spare for that? But there are like this plethora of free courses that you can take online. You can watch YouTube, you can learn about business policies, you also learn about project management, right? Learn about how to utilize social media, how to utilize tech to get what you want. You don't just remain at a spot, you evolve with the times. Next, you also form cross-border teams via SP online platforms or virtual hackathons. Okay. One of the best things that you've done for yourself is to be a member of SP, right? Because I mentioned earlier, SP is global, SP is all over the world. Yeah. So you meet people, you connect, you network, and you can form teams. I had a, I was on a team that had a couple of team members that I've never met them till now. I only know their names. They're not in Nigeria, right? But we worked together on a couple of projects. That's just how it is. You don't need to um just work with your classmates in Lasude or somebody in Unilab. You can go all the way to China, you can go all the way to Russia and form cross-border teams. And it's not just SP, there are so many other online platforms. You can also participate in virtual hackathons, right? You just focus on practical, local, global solutions, low cost solar mini grids for rural access, AI for predictive maintenance in oil and gas, waste to energy or biogas from local resources, carbon capture or flare gas commercialization ideas, right? So let me just go into this briefly before we move over to the next slide. Now, see, AI for predictive maintenance in oil and gas. You you would hear a lot of people say that with AI, a lot of things will change a lot of jobs will be replaced, and to be honest, yeah, we've seen that happen, but that's not always the case. Like the oil and gas industry now, you can use AI for predictive maintenance. I think I think it's Shell or yeah, Shell. So they use AI um to perform routine maintenance on their pipelines, right? So they don't typically before they'll have to send a team to the location, but now what they do is very simple. They use they use the machines that have been trained to do this, and they sit back at the office and get this done, right? Who's going to do that? Who is going to an engineer that has learned about AI? You would not expect that, oh, you decided, oh, AI didn't take my job, and then you don't even try to learn about it. When the time comes for AI to be utilized, they are going to pick someone who has learned about it. Now imagine you as a student going into the industry with this knowledge already. You are already at an advantage, right? You position yourself to succeed. When I was in uni, a couple of my classmates for their final year project, they did this waste to energy biogas from local resources. And it was very interesting to actually watch. They generated power from I think it was kitchen waste. Yeah, it was kitchen waste they used. It was innovative, it was inspiring. Now imagine what that could be full scale, like a full scale project or a full scale business, right? Then you also have carbon capture or flare gas utilization. As long as the energy industry operates, we always flare gas. That's just what it is. If you, I mean, the guys in petroleum engineering, the guys in chemical engineering will tell you that's what it is. But what we can do at that point in time, or at this point in time, is not just flare the gas, but we can commercialize it. So it's not just a waste, because flare gas is essentially a waste, and in turn, it ruins our ozone layer and climate. But when you commercialize it, you repurpose it, it's used for something else. You're helping the environment and also providing solutions. And yeah, as I said earlier, where there are problems, there will always be solutions. So you don't need fancy equipment. We saw the guy in Uganda. He wasn't using a state of the art tool, right? You don't need anybody's permission to actually start. You can start small. You can start right where you are with your final year project. You can start from there and then turn it into something, a big project when you're out of school. So leverage technology and tools. I talked about this earlier. There's so many tools out there, so many, and yeah, it's easy to even get overwhelmed with the amount and number of tools we have out there. But once you know what you want, you know where you're going, you know how to tailor your needs, you know how to pick your tools according to your needs, right? Technology is removing borders faster than ever. You can sit in Ecuador and text somebody in, I don't know, in Boston, the United States, and get a response immediately. You can get on video calls. I mean, case in point, we're having a webinar, and I'm pretty sure we're not all in the same space. A couple of years ago, this was not possible. Like for you to have any meeting, you don't have to be in the same space at the same time, right? So technology is really changing borders to bridges. Yeah, so that's where you have to come in. You have to leverage technology and tools. There are open source software. You have digital twins. You have to for simulation, for remote sensing. You have artificial intelligence and machine learning for optimization and demand forecasting. You have SP resources, technical papers, mentorship, technical meetings, events like this webinar that you're on now, right? There are a lot more of this. You go out there and find it. Because one thing is you don't expect it to follow your lap. You have to go out there, search for it, get what you want. It's not nobody's going to come and meet you in your house and say, "Oh, this is what I have for you." If you want to do something, if you want to change the world, you have to go out there and do it. So all of these tools are available. It's now up to us to use them creatively, to use them effectively. Practical steps for you as a LASSO student. One, join or activate SP LASSO chapter project. Like this ALP that I have right now is it's a very good, initiative. It's a very good place to start. So you just come together as SP LASSO. You can come up with a project, not even related to like schoolwork. I know that, oh, you say, but I have a lot of things going on for me in school right now. You can make time, even if you dedicate maybe an hour each day or an hour each week to it. You can make time and come up with projects, right, for SP LASSO. You can organize local hackathons, energy challenges. You can seek international partnerships again through SPA. There, apart from SPA, there are also other energy communities or energy bodies that you can join. You can propose capstone projects on energy transition topics. You can build a strong portfolio. So it's not just about doing these things, you have to document properly. If you don't document, if you don't share, nobody's going to know what you're doing, nobody's going to know what you're up to, right? So you have to document your ideas, you document your prototypes and your collaboration. And you can start small, start this week. You don't have to do everything at once, right? You can decide that, okay, my goal for this week is to actually come up with a project. Yeah, your president can spearhead that, or you can pick somebody to spearhead that. You just this week we'll just come up with a project that we want to do, and then from there You build on it, you build it, and before you know it, you have a full-fledged project that's running. But you have to take small, consistent steps. You the consistency is the operative word there. You have to be consistent. It's very important that you are consistent, because if you start today and you don't finish it, you won't have anything to show for it at the end of the day. To show for it at the end of the day, and you realize that whether you start that project now or next year, the year will still go by, right? There's a popular question people always ask that, oh, I'm 40 years old now. Should I go ahead and get a degree, or should I just not worry about it because I'm already 40? And then you'll be like, in 4 years, you can either be with a degree or without a degree. So why not just start and know that, okay, I have a degree in 4 years, instead of wondering, should I not, should I not? It's good to make a decision and then be consistent with steps. So SP's role in connecting you globally. Like I said, SP is a global platform, and it has changed borders, it has connected borders with bridges, right? And you can collaborate with people outside Nigeria, outside Africa, just because you belong to SP or you are both members of SP. And that's something that is really great, right? We, like I said, we have to know how to utilize this. Nice is coming up in a couple of months, and there you get to meet people. You Because people coming from all over the world, not just Nigeria, not just Africa, from Europe, from Asia, and you can connect, you can network with people. So with the ambassador leadership program right now, you also can talk to people. Your president, I'm pretty sure you. I don't know what your how vibrant your chapter is, but I'm sure probably will attend some technical meetings here and there. So you don't just go to technical meetings to look at people or to look at what they say. You have to develop the habits. You have to talk to people when you get there, not just listen, but you also talk. Tell people about the ideas that you have. If you don't know, if you're shy and you don't want to talk to maybe an industry titan, you can go to your fellow students, right? Share with them, start from there, and build your way up to talking to someone that you think is, oh, this is one big man in the industry. I can't talk to this person, right? Many of today's energy leaders started exactly where you are. When I spoke with the MD of Anugas, Professor Effie, he was like, so one thing with Effie is always with the young professionals and the students, because he says we actually always remind him of where he was or where he started from. They were all students like us, every single one of them. None of them came to this world knowing everything. They went through the same process that we did. They learned, they failed, they picked themselves up and continued. That's why you can see them where they are now and admire what they are doing. So you have to always remember that this person was once a student like me. So if anybody will get what I'm going through right now, they would, because they have experienced it before. So when you go to them to speak to them, you have to approach the conversation with that perspective, with that mindset. That makes it easy for you to talk to them, because you always know that, oh, I have a king, I have a colleague in this person. Um, I have here, what are you waiting for? Right. So it's a call to action. Go ahead and break mental borders, collaborate locally, think globally, turn ideas into prototype and impact. The energy future needs Nigerian student innovators, right? So it's not just to have it in your diary or in your journal that I want to be the one to provide 24/7 electricity to my community, but you should go out there, take action to see that that is a possibility. And I have been talking and talking and talking. I would like us to go to the question and answer session right now. Before Pamela tells me that I have 2 minutes left.
All right. Thank you very much for that insightful. How would I put it? I didn't even want you to stop because of just how practical all of it was, from breaking down what the issue was and even to using real time markers. Please pardon the bell in the background. Yes, and even to using real life markers, like the ever collapsing national grid and then the ongoing war as it is, and how it is just impacting the energy industry, and what we can do as students to contribute to it. We really don't have to wait for um, um, our supposed saviors of a government to come and help us, and we can reach beyond the borders to just gather all of this. Honestly, I just took down so much. Like, I could actually visualize. Sorry, please pardon the noise. I could actually visualize all of these things happening, and actually I could actually see them as practical. So thank you. I know that many of you all actually took our president's advice earlier that said that we should not be passive listeners, but we should be active listeners. And I hope you took that advice very well, because I did. And just to thank you one more time, I just want everyone to give um Miss Gift Odigie. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. Let us just give her, like, let's just show her appreciation. Let's just show her appreciation, because every single thing that I said, it was just entering my ears and settling down in my brain. They all just found their spaces, and it was just absolutely marvelous. Thank you so, so, so much. Yes, yes, yes. And I think I still want to say more. I still want to say more. One of the parts I also really loved was when you said that you don't necessarily have to stay within the confines of the degree that you are getting to gather information and then to make research and to function as a part of, because at the end of the day, even if, okay, um you're studying industrial engineering, for example, you are still going to borrow a few courses from law, from business, from here and there, and also just being exposed in this 21st century. You also talked about the use of technology for gathering information. And because someone has done something like that in China, you shouldn't say that, okay, oh, I have to come up with a fresh idea from scratch, nothing that man has ever seen before. You can just replicate it in your own locality. And it was absolutely marvelous. I'm just rambling off because it just awakened something in me, something that is just fresh. And I really can't thank you enough. But we have come to the question and answer session. I really hope that you all were actually scribbling and listening, and just thank you, Fav. Oh my god. Clock it, clock it. My namesake doesn't disappoint. So I really hope that you guys actually have questions, because it would be so so disappointing if you don't. Like, I will actually find, okay, I'm not going to threaten you, but like, I will actually find you. Yes, that's the promise. Anyhow, I was just kidding. Please, if you have questions, just put up a virtual hands. If you can speak into your microphone, and if you cannot, ensure you write your questions down in the chat box, and we'll get to it as soon as possible. I have a couple of questions myself, but I'll let you guys go first this time around before I now round off the whole session with my questions, and then we would come to the end of this webinar. All right. So firstly, we will take Favor. Favor, what is your question, please?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please signify.
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear. Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay, I think we lost people
Hello,
there
can you
for a
hear me
bit.
now?
Oh, oh yes, we can. We
Okay, I'm
can.
so sorry, it's my network. So, my name is Favor Obama, a 200 level student of aerospace engineering, and I'm someone who is passionate about innovation and technology. So, my question is coming from the aspect of AI. I mean, everyone is talking about AI here and here, but I would like to ask what specific skills are specifically important for engineering students? Because I believe the aim for AI or for we engineering students is to solve problems even using AI. So, what specific tools are important? What specific AI tools are important for students who are engineering students, for aerospace engineering students, and for students who are innovators and are passionate about making a difference? That's the question.
Um,
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry.
yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I'll repeat your question, Favor, to be sure I heard you correctly. You said what specific AI tools are important for engineering students and for aerospace students, right?
Yeah, and also innovators who are passionate about making a difference. I mean, students innovators.
Okay. So for engineering and aerospace students, I think one of the most important tools regarding AI is Python. I don't know if you guys, oh, you're in 20 level, so obviously I don't think you've done Python yet, or have you? You should you should do Python in 20 level, I think second semester. It's a programming language, right? I'm sure you know. So this is the main language that is used in the energy and aerospace AI. You have to, you have, like it is a necessity. You have to know how to work with Python. And of course, you have libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib that's used for data analysis. And I think some people use TensorFlow, that's a little bit more advanced, and PyTorch, which is for deep learning or for neural networks. So these tools are very, very important. They're like the basics, right? Then there's also AI for predictive maintenance. This is generally for an engineering student, not necessarily limited to aerospace engineering, right? So it's general engineering students, and of course anyone that wants to innovate. You learn TensorFlow, you learn Python and PyTorch. I mentioned that earlier, and also I think MATLAB. I don't know if you become MATLAB in 20 level two. I don't know why I can't remember what level. Yeah, it's a 20 level course. And I don't even know if the curriculum has changed, to be honest. But we were taught MATLAB in 200 level. We were also taught Python in 200 level. One was in, I think they were both in second semester, right? So these are tools that you can learn. But MATLAB is for simulation, it's also for optimization. Then of course you need to learn prompts, right? AI prompts. So you have your chat GPT, you have your Grok, you have your clouds, you have your Copilot with GitHub. You need to learn how to write better code. You need to learn how to do quick research, or you don't have to do like deep dive. You don't have, the research system in general has changed compared to a couple of years ago, where you have to go to various websites one after the other. Now you can just input it into one of your AI chat boxes, and it will just give you um websites where you can go and find what you're looking for. There are energy specific tools like Google Auto ML. We also have good tools for grid optimization and for renewable forecasting, right? This like I said, energy students, engineering students, and also for innovators. Apart from these technical skills, you have to have what you want to call non-technical or soft skills. You need to learn how to present your research. You need to learn how to present your topics. You can, because you can have all the technical skills in the world. If you don't know how to sell yourself, so to speak, it's just be a waste of skills, right? So you also need to learn how to write. You need to learn how to write and write properly. These days, everybody's using AI to write, and it's like it's losing the, forgive my word if it's not correct, the humanness of it all. So we need to go back to the basics of learning how to write. So with all of your skills, you then learn how to present what you know in a way that the other person understands what you're talking about, in a way that your knowledge is actually valuable to people and not just jargons, not just technical jargons, right? Like I said earlier, you have to start simple, start small. You cannot learn everything in one day. You can't learn everything in one semester. In fact, you will not learn everything in your 5 years in school. Take it from me. I left school how many years ago? I'm still learning till today. I will still learn tomorrow. So you have to start small and take it a step by step journey. And yeah, it's important that most of these tools are free. And I mean, for students, you include that you get it for free. And I know that as a student, you know you have access to some resources where you can get a lot of these tools for free. And YouTube is a free university. You can learn anything you want to learn on YouTube. I heard someone say he learned how to make a bomb on YouTube. So YouTube is a free university. You can learn anything there. Just get there, search. SP also has a couple of technical meetings. Just hear what people are talking about. Find out what is happening in the industry in real time, right? So you know what people there are actually doing at the moment. Follow them on LinkedIn. You have access to these people. Get on LinkedIn. Follow industry professionals. Join the conversation. Learn what they're talking about, and then figure out how you can position yourself, how you can implement what they're talking about into your own personal life. Thank you. I hope I have answered your question. Favor Obama, did I get your question?
Yes, you did, ma.
You did,
Thank you.
ma'am. All right, thank you.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much for that. I think I saw someone else put up their virtual hands. Please, once again, if you have any questions, put up your virtual hands, and if you cannot speak, type up your questions in the chat box. I think the question was from Abdulatif Kolirosho. Abdulatif, do you still have a question?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, um, and for our nice. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
loud and clear. Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So, part of the question I want to ask. So, the previous, so I'll just be asking a follow-up question. So, for an undergrad, yeah,
Hello, we can't hear you very well. Could you maybe move around or do something about your microphone?
so probably maybe I'll just type it.
We can hear you better now.
Okay. So I was asking that for a final year aerospace engineering students, that are there any opportunity in the petroleum industry for someone that doesn't have maybe like a tangible knowledge about anything petroleum engineering. So and also wants to dive into the petroleum industry. So is there any opportunity that such person can like look forward to? Thank you. So were you able to get the question?
Hi, Abdulatif. I'll repeat your question to you. You asked for a final year aerospace engineering student. Are there opportunities in the oil and gas industry for someone without technical? No, you have technical, someone without hands-on experience, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so there's something, if you have been active members of SPA, if you've ever attended an SPA meeting, you will find out that you don't have only engineers there or petroleum engineers. I am a chemical engineer who is who also works in operations and projects, and I'm a member of SP. I mean, SP is actually I think last month or 2 months ago, we were discussing with the international president, and they're actually looking to change the name from Society of Petroleum Engineers because we have everybody, everybody you can think of. And you know how the energy industry works. The energy industry is not like medicine that you say, okay, everybody has to be like medical, right? You have lawyers, you also have doctors because when you're in the field, you need to have a medical professional on board. You need to have someone there 24/7, right? You have lawyers, you also have people that are involved in like policies because there are so many policies that you someone in aerospace engineering that doesn't have hands-on experience in the energy industry, you just have to do your research, right? And I don't want you to think that, oh, because I don't have any experience, it means I won't get the job. Or Everybody starts from somewhere. Nobody expects a, and I know that, oh, you say Nigeria, that's not the case. That's not how it will ask you for 5 years experience with your with a 1 year out of school, right? And all of all those things. But there are actually companies, there are people, they don't expect you to know everything just fresh out of university. It is impossible. But they need you to have certain skills like how to take initiative. Nobody wants to spoon feed anybody in the industry. Like you get spoon fed in even in university. I'm sure lecturers will tell you that they're not going to do the work for you. You have to go and do it yourself, which is true. It's the same thing that happens out there. So the most important thing I would say you should do is first of all, you need to get a mentor. There's somebody that is in aerospace or that is an aerospace engineer that works in the energy industry. You just have to find that person. And you don't have to, to find mentors, right? Or to have a mentor, you don't necessarily have to know them personally. You can just follow them on social media, listen to what they talk about, and then you build a relationship from there. Right, excuse me. So you don't have to know them personally for them to become a mentor. Pretty sure there are some people that just watch. If I ask you now, you will tell me that, oh, one of the people you look up to might be Elon Musk, but you don't know him personally. You never spoken to him before, but you like what he does with his space, with SpaceX and all of all those things, right? You can follow him and listen to what he says, and then this is just, you can also bring that back to where you are here in Nigeria. You will definitely find. You also need to look for communities. Don't just, it's not, see, schooling education is not just going to class for the 5 years, right? You have to look for communities outside of your school. There are, the way we have SP, I have a feeling there'll be like an aerospace community for and for engineering students. Find that, become a member, do your research, and you will definitely see that even without having hands-on experience, there are things that you can learn that will put you in a better position to succeed. Have I been able to answer your question?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
All right. Are you sure?
Yes. So what you said was to
Yeah.
make research on getting a new skill like that is going to help in the petroleum industry, and also to get a mentor.
Yes, you have to get a mentor. But the first thing you have to know and like remember that not everybody in the petroleum industry actually is a petroleum engineer. I had colleagues that were that studied business admin. I had colleagues that studied international relations. Right. Of course, you have your core engineers like the petroleum guys, the guys that work in drilling. There's one of my colleagues that actually studied math, but he's a drilling engineer. He's now even a senior drilling engineer right now. He handles about 10 or 15 rigs. That's somebody that studied mathematics. He's not an engineering student. Of course, you said math is still STEM, but think about it. Somebody that is in math can be a drilling engineer. How me that is in aerospace, you definitely find how you can make yourself effective or how you can utilize your skills in the petroleum industry. But you have to have that mindset first. Don't and also don't take no for an answer. Right? Don't take no for an answer. They're going to tell you that, oh no, it's not possible. Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure the people that people that were around Newton's time or Einstein would have told them, oh, it's not possible. But here, most of the most of the core engineering principles are from what they thought of, right? So you have to learn how to not take no for an answer. Advocate for yourself, find a mentor, and yeah, the sky is just the limit.
All
Oh
right,
my
thank
God,
you,
I
ma.
was mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Gift. Honestly, it's like every word and every sentence that has just been, coming out of your mouth is like revelation. It just feels like a revelation from the heavens. It's just laying down upon me like this. I didn't even think I even thought to ask these level of questions. But honestly, I'm just realizing how important they are. I believe there are no other questions. Let me quickly check the chat box. Okay, Favor Obama just dropped this 6 minutes ago. So I will just quickly ask these questions and I hope that you can help us to rush through it because our time is quite fast spent and people need to go back to their hostels and rest for the day. So Favor Obama says, Miss Gift, what innovation do you think the world needs in relation to sustainability, specifically that those that are feasible for students to build? Probably you talked about this. I didn't get you clearly. Can you enlighten me more on this? So that was his question and it's in the chat box. Should I read it again?
Yes, please, because I didn't get you completely.
Okay. He says, Miss Gift, what innovation do you think the world needs in relation to sustainability, specifically those that are feasible for students to build? Probably you talked about it. I didn't get you clearly. Can you enlighten me more on this?
Okay, so oh, I can even see the question. I'm sorry, I didn't know I could see it. What innovation do you think the world needs in relation to sustainability, especially that's feasible for students to build? All right, yeah, I did touch on this earlier, but I'll go over it again. Remember I mentioned that my classmates then in school for their final year period they had a waste to energy system, right? So they did the generator power with biogas. They did it small scale, right? But obviously anything that is done small scale can be upscaled to be bigger. And sustainability is a very big problem all over the world, particularly starting with our country. And there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of solution, a lot of innovation that you can provide as a student. You can also work on affordable mini grids, smart solar solutions. So you know how you have low cost solar and battery mini grids for rural community and off grid areas. You can develop smart systems that use AI to predict demand, they manage load shedding, and integrate with diesel or gas backups. You can build a prototype with Arduino. Pretty sure you work on Arduino. I don't know what comment you're in, right? But let me just say, you can build a prototype with Arduino. You can work on open source energy management software. I mentioned biogas already. Because, like I said, a country like Nigeria, you don't want to provide solutions that are only available to the 1%. A majority of the population of the country actually live below the poverty line. So now imagine you're providing a solution that is only people like Dangote. That's even too high. It's only people that are, it's only like actual 9 to 5 professionals or people in the middle class that can afford it. You're not going to be actually providing that much of a solution. But you have to work on providing cheap, have to be cheap, easy to maintain. Because apart from being below the poverty line, many people in Nigeria are not educated to deal with technical, what's it called? Technical things. I mean, even down to buying what's it called meter for electric. People are having issues with it, right? You now want to innovate something that is a lot more complicated. You just know that you have a tool that is effective, but nobody's using it. So you want to build something that is small scale, cheap, easy to understand, easy to use, easy to maintain. So you can build a biogas digester, you can build a waste briquette machine. Just do it small scale, right? Test it with your hostel. Test it with something. Test it maybe with you can use your biogas to power maybe your fan, right? Your fan in the hostel. Test it with something as little as that. Then figure out how to scale it. I mentioned one of the I don't want to call it an advantage, right? But a country like Nigeria that has a lot of problems means that there are a lot of solutions. You just have to figure out and you have to do the work to say you look around you, okay, this is what's happening in my community now. Say you're in Ekpe, or maybe you live um in you're in Ekpe for school, maybe you live in Aja or you live on the mainland, right? Look at where you are at right now. What's the problem that we have? You don't have to do, like I said, you don't have to you don't have to what's it called to manufacture a plane that works like the Concorde. No, you don't have to do something else. You don't have to go to the moon. You don't have to go to space. You can start by solving immediate problems, and that doesn't really require what's it called grand tools. It just requires you to use your innovation to be creative. You figure out this is where we are, this is what I can do to solve this problem at this point in time. it is very important that you start. I know that is attractive to want to do something that is shiny, that you take to the US or something, and you want to go out there. But imagine you solve a problem locally, and then from that local, from where you are, you scale it to become a global solution. So you don't take a global solution and now bring it to, you can start from where you are, start with your little resources. Let's have a prototype that works. That's when you will now get people that want to get involved with you, that want to partner or collaborate with you. Once people say you're doing well, right? They want to come and work with you. I hope I've been able to answer your question. There are a lot more tools, right? There are a lot more what's it called? There are a lot more innovation, a lot more things that you can build, but that's going to be up to you to research. I just gave you pointers on what you can do. So you have to be the one to research what are the problems we have in Nigeria right now regarding sustainability. What can I do to solve these problems? Who is already doing what I want to do? How can I partner with them to make it better? Stuff like that.
All right, thank you very much for that answer. Thank you so much for that answer. I have just one question to cap all of this up, and I really hope that you can be quite brief with it. So the question I have is that in relation to sustainability, energy, and power, and also technology, seeing as we are now in the age of AI and how it is in everything really, you really cannot escape the use of AI. There is a permanent problem that is going to just how do I put it? As it's just going to um shift our climate and everything else as we know it. As we know, in the past 2 weeks or week, we've been struggling with a lot of heat wave in Nigeria, and some of it is partly because of the overusage or because of the high usage in AI, and because of the data centers that are powering this AI need a lot of water, clean water for that matter, and it is not recyclable. So in that case, how then can we as students combat this very niche and very new problem? Because it feels almost defeating. How do you want to, I wouldn't say compete, but how do you want to combat a problem that nearly the whole world is both benefiting from, using from, and something that is changing technology and life as we know it so rapidly?
Okay, favor. I want to repeat what you said because I lost you at some point. You said that with the use of AI, right, and it's increasing demand, and also in a country like Nigeria where we've been experiencing heat wave, which is partially due to the use of power by the data centers. How can students solve this niche problem, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right. So first of all, I would like to say the heat wave that we're experiencing in Nigeria is not actually necessarily attributed to the data centers. Remember that we experienced this last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago. The reason this is happening over and over again is because of the governments they don't plan properly for this, right? A city like Lagos is not planned. Like there's no city planning to start with. Nigeria is nowhere near the hottest country in anywhere, but there's no proper planning, right? You see houses houses are built so closely that you can stay in your house and stretch your hand through your window and touch your neighbor. That's not how life is not supposed to be that way. It's not there's no how. We don't have trees, right? There are no trees there. They're cutting down trees every single day. We don't have proper trees in Lagos. I think even Ekpe is better. I don't know if you're in Ekpe right now, if you're on IT. But Ekpe is better because it's a lot more like well, I haven't been there in 5 years, but when I was there, it was still a lot more rural. There were a lot of trees, so we didn't necessarily experience heat like that per se. Because even if your hostel was hot, you could come outside and sit close to the trees, and you get like refreshed. So, but for students solving this niche problem, uh, I would say nobody expects you to have all the answers at this point in time as a student. But one of the most important things you can do is to collaborate, right? There are people who are already trying to solve this problem out there. There are people already trying to figure out sustainability require like in a country like Nigeria with respect to data centers and all. So you get in touch with them, get in contact, find out what they are doing and how you can provide support, how you can be useful, right? I know that many of us like to think that we are the only ones with a unique idea, but I have come to find out that's not the case. When God plants an idea in your mind, someone else also has that idea. It's not up to you to move. That's why you see that, oh, you might think about something today and you don't move fast, and you find out that maybe 2 months later somebody's doing what you think about. I'm like, wait, what? I had that idea, but you didn't move, right? So just how you're here wondering how you can solve this problem, there are people out there who are trying to solve this problem too. So you get in contact with even your classmates too. You put your heads together and figure out, okay, this is what we can do, this is where we are. Well, practical what's it called, solutions right now. Like I said, a country like Nigeria is tricky to solve issues because of policies, not just policies, you also have the government actively working against you. So you have access to them, especially without resources. And you know how expensive data mining or these data centers are. You know how expensive it is. But the good thing is water. We don't run out of water. At least God did not design the earth for us to run out of water. But at the same time, like you mentioned, it has to be clean, like clean. It has to be clean water. But at the same time, water is still recyclable. While you're using that, the other water that you're using for your wastewater, those ones are recyclable. So you can use it for data. And I also think that it gets to a certain point in time, innovation would demand that you figure out, or we as humans figure out a different way to run these data centers, right? It's just like when we started with vehicles, we started with petrol. Now you have electric vehicles everywhere. 20 years ago, nobody would have thought that was possible. But innovation demanded, or it was like, yeah, innovation brought about the whole idea. And now we have electric vehicles, we have vehicles that are powered with CNG, etc. So with time and with more knowledge out there, I feel like as humans we'll evolve past the point of having to use water for our data centers. But like I said, you have to find people who are doing what you want to do already and collaborate with them. Just like hitching a ride. One is going where you want to go. You join them on that journey. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Pamela. Or do you need more clarification? She there?
Oh, no, 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 sorry. Yes, you have. Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. See.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So we have come to the end of this Q&A session. If you're around, please just show your love and appreciation for Miss Gift by just dropping a heart. It's really not hard. It really is not hard. Really is not hard rather. Just drop a heart for her. Honestly. Miss Gift, thank you so much. Honestly, what I have learned and just gathered from this session alone and how it is going to propel me into action. Oof, I really cannot quantify how much um this has just done. It has just rewired my brain literally. Thank you very much. um I was hoping that could we connect with you on LinkedIn using your name, Miss Gift Odigie, in case
Just
we
have
just
to say
want to.
my
Yeah.
name. Let me share my name is Gift Odigie on LinkedIn. If you
All
just
right.
search for Gift, my first and my last name, you will find me. I think I have this same picture on my bio there. So in case you recognize the picture when you
Hmm.
see it,
All right. Thank you so
right?
much. Because I personally would also like to connect with you. Because this is just going to propel me to I wouldn't say conduct my own research, but just to read papers on this, be much more aware, and to know how I can also start to contribute to these um, solutions. And I'm sure that just connecting with you is going to do me great good in this deal. So thank you very much once again. I really appreciate. As for
Thank
us,
you.
the students here that are still on this call, please take this as a point of action. Do not just attend this webinar because, well, it's SP and they're doing another thing. Actually, take it as a point of action and go ahead, experiment, connect with people locally, globally, talk about what you are doing. Always speak up about it and just look at how you can combat problems. If you fail, it's absolutely fine because it's an evidence that you're actually putting in the work. Do not be scared to fail at any skill. Honestly, that is all that we have for now. So next we have upcoming events and announcements. Okay, we have upcoming events and announcements. So if you do not live under a rock, which I obviously know you guys don't, last night, you would know that we have the Nexus 3.0 coming up. Please give SC Lasso a virtual round of applause. Nexus, we have done Nexus 1.0, it was a success. Nexus 2.0, it was a success. Now Nexus 3.0, I can literally see the success in the horizon. Somebody say hallelujah. I am honestly excited in advance. I like my whenever I just think of it, whenever I just think of how and honestly, Nexus just offers a platform for students just to showcase the ideas that they have because it is by Lassoites for Lassoites, not only SPE Lasso. So please travel the world of Nexus 3.0 far and wide. If you can, if you even have friends in your other universities, tell them to come and watch. Let them actually see what we are doing because whenever we have these discussions about uni, they're always just looking down on last week especially. We can't let that continue. We can't let that continue. Nexus 3.0 is coming and it is in May 2026. So I just want you to be mentally prepared. Be academically prepared. Prepare your researches, whatever it is, in any capacity you want to participate. Make sure you start making preparations now, and I'm sure you can ask any of the executives for more information on what is needed. And also, we also need sponsors to make sure that this event goes as smoothly as possible. So if you have one rich uncle, rich auntie, anybody that's not, they are not shy to just drop a quick 2M, 1.5M, that wouldn't be a bad idea. You can just hit up our president. His DM is always open. Next, we have the SP Lasso Sports Fest. As we all know, SP Lasso is known for bringing together community in all the motto for SP Lasso is solutions, people, and energy. And the people aspect, we want to bring all of us together through sports, you know, running, jogging, just many different things. People that have high endurance, people that have low endurance, people that can just walk here and there, all the sports that you need for each and every person in every category is going to be there. And seeing as we are students, we're mostly in classes for 5 hours to 6 hours in a day. This will do you a great deal of good. So I just know that you should not miss this at all. If I wasn't on IT, I most definitely would be there. So yes, that is all that we have for the announcement. Make sure that you are not holding this information. Tell your friends, tell your foes, tell your acquaintances. Just tell everybody. This word must travel far and wide. And we have come to the end of today's webinar. You guys, you guys, please let me see your clap now. Is virtual applause now expensive? You guys should clap. And one more time, let us thank Miss Gift Odigie because honestly, because I don't really don't think I can thank you enough. Yes, you really just came here to just impact, just like the spirit of action into all of us. Thank you so much for just showing up for us and impacting us in this short time. Thank you very much. Now, for the second to last agenda, we have the closing remark given by SP LASU Vice President 1, Anima Shaun Samiat. Samiat, can you hear us? Hello, Samiat. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. All right, thank you. Um, okay. Thank you for that, Samiat. Can can you give us the vote of thanks?
Hello, everybody.
Okay. Thank-
Hello, Madam VP.
All right, I think you can speak now.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm currently using my laptop and my phone at the same time. So, pardon me for the background noises. All right, so thank you all so much for today's session, for joining us today. Yeah, I would like to sincerely appreciate Mrs. Gift Odigie, yeah, for sharing such valuable insights and inspiring us with a perspective on solving the global energy challenges. Today's session has shown us that students are not just learners, but we are also active contributors to shaping the future of energy. So, to everyone who has participated, your presence and engagement has made this session truly impactful, and we are also encouraged to take in. And I would also like to encourage you all, right, to taking all what you've learned today and put them into action. So we remain committed to empowering our student members through learning and opportunities. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event, as Favor has announced, like our upcoming next event. So I urge you all to stay tuned. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Miss DP. Yes, so thank you very much for that. I hope we're not all gone by now. So we have finally come to the last lap of today's ALP session. I don't know about you, but I'm actually sad this is coming to. You guys are excited. You see, thank you for that, Mike. Typical. You guys should be sad that it is coming to an end. Really. Today's session was exceptional. Ah, someone is even throwing celebratory balloons. Wow. All right. So we have come to the last lap of today's session, and as per the custom in ST Lasso, we are going to be putting on our cameras for a little photo session. You can just put on your cameras and you take a screenshot of your screen and be sure to post it on your WhatsApp status, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, but most importantly, LinkedIn. Let everybody know that yes, you are one of the elite of the elite that got to be part of this ALP session. So I'm going to be putting on my camera now. I know that you all are beautiful boys and girls, or men and women rather, you all are beautiful men and women, and I would just like to see your faces for a few seconds. Okay, one, two, three. Wow, three out of like 10 people. Okay, a big smile. One more time. All right, all right, all right. Thank you all so much for today. I really, really enjoyed today's session. Thank you so much, Miss Gift Odigie. Today was absolutely fantastic. Was just was everything. Was actually beyond my expectations. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for gracing us with your knowledge and your experiences. And thank you to everyone that attended today's ELP session. I really, really, really cannot wait to see you guys very soon. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Yeah. Don't forget to remind yourselves of the your friends rather of the Nexus and Sports Fest and Sports Fest. Okay? Bye.